Many of you have probably thought that I've just given up and dropped off the face of the earth, but only the second part is true. Between working two jobs and, going travelling recently, I just have not really had the time. Well, that's not true. I have had the time to upload if I really wanted to, but the time management skills aren't there, so that is partially the reason why you haven't seen a video from me in over a month. The other reason that I haven't been able to upload anywhere near as much content is because I simply can't make it. I'm not here to play anywhere near as much War Thunder as I used to be able to, so combined with all those aspects of working, not being here to make content, the channel just kind of went kaput. Well, not kaput, I mean, a lot of you are still subscribed. I haven't seen any major subscriber drops from all of you, but things have changed in War Thunder, and I would like to go over them, but I actually need to experience those changes first before I can even comment on them, so don't expect any videos about like the IS-7 or anything like that soon. And for now, to sort of mark my return, I think it would be appropriate if I played a tank that I'm rather good at. Although, this was me playing today. So I haven't played War Thunder in about a month, and it's quite apparent that I've dropped quite significantly in player skill. I'm nowhere near as good as I used to be with the Panther, so this might be a bit painful for some of you to watch. Like, now, I'm just... no, the situational awareness is quite dull, and shooting, I mean, I feel like if I was playing this, like, 3 months ago, it would be an entirely different game. But no. Aside from the gameplay, I've actually been doing very, very well. I am nowhere near as lethargic or as angry as I used to be before, especially when it came to this game. This game used to irritate the shit out of me, so a lot of that stress has been removed from me not playing. Now, I can't say for certain that if I start playing this again, I'm not going to, go off my brain like I used to, but I mean, all things considered, I think I'll be a lot more mellow and placid and actually learn from a lot of the mistakes that I was making previously, because when I was playing this game, especially when I was driving the Abrams every day, it was just sort of, I would be killed by the same thing, and I wasn't really adapting to this changing threat that I was facing in front of me. I understand that a lot of the Abrams and all the other higher tier tanks like that have gone up to 10.0 instead, and we now have an IS-7 in the game, which is quite a scary thought. However, the thing that made the IS-7 scary back when I played World of Tanks isn't the thing that makes the IS-7 scary in this game. Because in World of Tanks, the IS-7 was an aggressive tank, sure, but there were a lot of vehicles that were quite easily capable of penning and killing it, In this game, however, the thing that makes the IS-7 scary is not the fact that it's well armoured, because, heat FS is such a prominent thing in the game that you're just going to get penned by heat. It's the fact that the vehicle is that fast for its size, and it is quite well equipped. It has a 130mm gun, and this aspect of the vehicle, this 130mm gun and high speed, very well fits the meta which was previously established in War Thunder. You see, back in the day, the best tank in the game was, of course, the Leopard 1. Why was it the best tank in the game? Well, it fit the meta perfectly. It had the firepower to deal with everything with its heat shell, and it also had the mobility that could pretty much trump all of the tanks when it came to that. And a lot of people, sometimes they don't understand this. That's why not everyone who picks up a Leopard, is good with it, because it's just it's a tank that requires very good map awareness. I mean, most tanks do require map awareness, but especially so the Leopard 1. With the IS-7, it not only is very well armoured, which means that if someone isn't firing heat at you, you will basically bounce every single shot that they fire. Of course, there's also APFSDS, but I'm not sure exactly which battle rating the IS-7 sits at, but I know that its BR is probably lower than the T10s, and that's a concern, because in my opinion, I feel like the T10 is an inferior tank to the IS-7, which is surprising. People would be like, well, why did they go ahead with the T10 and not the IS-7? Because the T10 has a distinct lineage from the IS-3, whereas the IS-7 is a sort of completely new tank. And those of you who don't know about armoured vehicle manufacturing would know that tanks with sloped sides, like sloped side armour, the IS-7 has pretty much, like, nothing on that tank is vertical. Pretty much everything is sloped in some regard. That is actually quite difficult to manufacture and especially mass produce. It also has problems with internal volume. Now, that's solved by the IS-7 by being a massive tank, but, you know, these vehicles are difficult to manufacture, and it would have been much easier to produce the T10 compared to the IS-7. That's why the IS-7 was basically relegated to being a prototype. Now, the thing that I was irritated by in the game is that in the previous Operation Summer events, you were able to buy the modules, you were able to buy the things. So, last time I did this, and when I earned the, what's it called, the Puma, the cannon, I can't remember what it's called, the vehicle with the 75mm gun, and the anti-aircraft vehicle mounted on the T-34 hull. I can't even remember the names of these vehicles, that's how long it's been for me. And I'm too lazy to check because I'm recording this on the spot. So, with that, I had the time to grind out each specific module in depth. With this, I did not have the time. I have 2 jobs, and my timetable is quite balanced, but full. So I don't really get the time to play every single day. The thing with that is, I had the money to pay for the modules, but they weren't available for sale. And that's the thing that pissed me off the most. I could not outright just buy the IS-7. You know, I would have been paying a lot, but I would have happily bought all those event vehicles rather than have to sit down and grind, because we don't have the time to grind for this shit. But they don't really care about that. For some reason, they just created this grind fest, which, you know, I mean, all the top War Thunder players who have the actual time to play the game, who play the thing every day, props to them. They can do it easy. And, you know, it's not like the E100 where you actually had to win tournaments to unlock the vehicle and place within, like, I think it was the top 100 or top 150, I can't remember off the top of my head. No, with the IS-7, they've basically just created this, oh yeah, you know, if you have the time to grind for it, you can, but it's just about grinding. You know, sure, you've got to be somewhat good at the game, but I mean, if I could do the previous Operation Summer event, it shouldn't be that difficult, you know? And, honestly, the one time where War Thunder didn't, you know, turn into pay-to-win shit is the one time where it annoyed me, because all I wanted to do was just straight up, alright, I'll buy the IS-7, and I didn't get the chance to. So, you know, for future reference, if anyone is wondering why I'm annoyed at War Thunder, it's not just because of things like that, where, you know, on one hand something is just completely pay to win, and then on the other hand, you know, they don't, and they make it so grindy it's not funny. The other thing that annoys me is that they're adding so many new things to the game, but then they just completely refuse to fix basic things. Like, for example, the game modes. We have not seen a new game mode in War Thunder Ground Forces. Air Realistic is just... I haven't even touched or looked at Air Realistic in so long. You know, this game started as a flight simulator and has turned into tanks only, which is... I'm a fan of tanks, obviously, so it's not really too difficult for me to play. But, you know, at the end of the day, you're kind of neglecting an entire crowd of people who just want to play their aircraft. And, you know, AirRB is probably one of the most... It is the most effective way of grinding out your aircraft if you're a good player. You don't want to be... It's very difficult to grind out aircraft just by playing ground forces. You can kill 3 or 4 tanks in a match, and you're... You know, if you're grinding a module, this is even on a rank 3 or 4 aircraft, the bar will move very slowly in the amount of experience you've actually gained, or RP you've gained for modules and things like that. So it's their sheer neglect of addressing game modes at all they just sort of like Kursk. Oh, Kursk is a big problem. Oh, we need to put a big town in the middle of it to sort of fix the sniping. Well, that doesn't stop the sniping. You've just made a clusterfuck in the middle of a map that was traditionally meant to be a big field. There's no town in the middle of, you know. So, I don't know, a lot of paths just don't really make much sense. And it's kind of annoying to have to deal with it. So, unless War Thunder can start addressing... What the hell? For some reason there was a alarm set on my phone. So, unless War Thunder can actually start bothering to address a lot of these issues, then... I don't know, I'm going to continue playing when I can. But part of the reason I haven't been as motivated to play is because of this. Like, they're adding all these different new magical things that, you know, gets everyone's attention, but they fail to address the core problems. And core gameplay is what keeps a game interesting, and is what makes people play these games. If the core gameplay is garbage, then no one will play the game. So, you know, if they fail to address those problems, I think that War Thunder's days are not limited. People will always play this goddamn game, but I don't think as many people would be playing. And one of the things I would have always liked to do if I was able to become a community contributor would be to draw more people to this game, because you don't have to grind for years and years to get to the point where I'm at. If you just dedicate yourself properly, you know, you can achieve a lot of things in a rather short period of time if you're willing to put in the effort. So, yeah. That's all I have to really say about that. I think I might go in depth a bit more about some of the issues that this game is having later on. But for now, I'd just like to sort of sit tight and go easy. And yeah, because lately I've just been having such a great time in life and pretty much with everything else. I'm like my Panther tank right now, but I'm so much happier now compared to me a few months ago that I don't know, I don't even feel like the same person anymore, to be quite honest. I mean, I'm still going to do all the commentaries and stuff. Like, when I game, I'm going to feel the same, but just know that I'm quite a bit happier than I was. And this might have a positive effect. I might actually start sounding a bit more positive on my videos, despite, you know, hounding on Gaijin for the past X couple of minutes, but I'm just not I'm not swearing as much anymore for some weird reason. And I know, just in general, I just feel a lot better about things. So maybe when I start playing War Thunder again, if I just apply a bit more of a positive attitude, things might actually start looking up. Things might start happening that I was not expecting before, so yeah. Other than that, videos. I can't promise anything in the near future, but what I can give you is that I will try to upload at least, you know, I will start by trying to see how many videos I can get out this week alone. If it's too difficult with my schedule, it might go down. If I can handle it, I might keep it at that. So if I can get at least 2 to 3 videos a week, or, you know, maybe even 3 to 4 videos a week, that would be amazing. But, you know, I don't really have an upload schedule. I used to try to maintain one, and then a work schedule came along. So those of you with jobs, you'd understand this. It's... the hours I work can vary greatly. I'm pretty much on call at certain points of the day to see if I have to come in or not. So, unless... I do have a rostered schedule, but it changes. The roster changes a lot. And sometimes I can be called in. That's why it's so difficult for me to actually make an upload schedule, because a day that I might have wanted to make, say, something like a Gary time, I've got to work at 6 o'clock in the morning. So, that is the reason why it can be difficult for me to make an upload schedule at this point. I will try to make Gary times in future. I will try to make those historical videos that some of you enjoy. And of course, I mean, mainly my videos are just about upcoming content, being a little clickbaity boy. And, you know, I'll probably just, instead of just reading a dev blog out, like word for word, I'll probably try to provide some more opinions on it now. Because it's just... a lot of the things that they're, you know, saying they're going to implement are just a bit far-fetched for me at the moment. Like, I've heard rumours of attack helicopters. I've heard about, like, air-to-ground guided missiles. Now, my only issue is, how is this going to work for me? I know that sounds a bit selfish, but I don't see how I can use a Fritz X-bomb with a controller. So how am I going to operate an air-to-ground guided missile? And air-to-ground guided missiles open up a lot of possibility. We're talking Mavericks, we're talking Hellfires, probably some other helicopter-mounted guided missile or aircraft-mounted guided missile. This is opening up the possibility to use A-10 Thunderbolts in the game, because an A-10 is actually slower than a MiG-17. It's not that dangerous to other aircraft, it's just extremely dangerous to tanks. Although I probably wouldn't try to head on an A-10 Thunderbolt, that would not be a good idea. But that is a potential thing to see in the game. Remember, we're dealing with T-64Bs, the possibilities of T-80s and T-72s. A-10s were designed to go after those vehicles with missiles and 30mm gunfire. Little things like that. Those are the directions I see the game going in, but we can speculate more on that in some other video. For now, I have to go and, surprise, surprise, go to work. So, it has been your boy Gary G Gaming, and I hope to catch you all next time, whenever that may be. I hope you're all doing well, and sorry about being so absent for the longest of times. So yeah, hope you guys have a good one.